Feel good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. So there's been 2 meth busts this week. Do we think that this is becoming a problem in Cape Coral?
I believe that it's becoming a trend, obviously, 2 in 1 week. Late last year was our first ever in the city, and then now there's been 3 and 2 in the last week. I think it's an area of concern.
And how are you finding out about these?
Different ways. Every one of them has been different. Intelligence from debriefing people that we've arrested. This last one was a referral from DCF who happened to go to the home. Other ways in other parts of the country, tragic circumstances have led people to know they are volatile chemicals and very dangerous. So there's all kinds of different ways. Fortunately, that hasn't been a way that we've been made aware, but it's very similar in that respect to other types of drug operations, from people calling and saying there's people coming and going from a home. An odd chemical smell would be a telltale sign, and also referrals and other old-fashioned forms of intelligence.
So obviously those chemicals are hazardous. What's kind of the cleanup process?
The cleanup process is pretty painstaking, I would say. We have to call in hazmat crews to clean it, depending on how many times they've cooked and how much the chemicals have spread. You might even have to go all the way down to the studs of a structure, and there's been cases where you've had to go even further. So it's quite a situation when you get those chemicals that have been in the atmosphere.
Sure. Is it hazmat that cleans it up, or environmental services?
Environmental services, we actually budget for that. It's roughly $800 a pop to come out and have them clean.
Wow. Do they come out to every house, or?
Any meth house, they come out and do that. Because you can't just dispose of the chemicals, we can't bring them back here and just store them in evidence, or obviously pour them down the drain or throw them in the garbage. They need to be disposed of professionally and safely for the environment.
And, sorry, is anybody else?
Again, the primary signs of a meth house, what tips you off primarily?
I wouldn't use the word primarily, because there's many different ways, like we just talked about. But if you're in a neighborhood and you see comings and goings, a lot of vehicle traffic in and out, that makes you think that there might be some narcotics activity going on, coupled with a very heavy chemical smell. That's the most telltale sign that there may be some methamphetamine manufactured.
Well, you said last year was the first ever in the city, and now these 2. Why do you think that, why do you think this is happening now, all of a sudden?
I think it's just territory that hasn't been tapped yet. It kind of migrated from the western United States all the way across, and the drug has been, for lack of a better word, successful. It's popular, it's very widely abused, and when there's supply and demand, basic economics, it's going to eventually come here, and I think that's where we're at.
And just as far as neighbors, are they in any danger from having being, both of the 2 in this past week have been in a duplex? Is the other tenant in any danger of, having this right next door to them?
I would say yes. I mean, life-threatening, imminent danger, maybe not, but I can't rule that out either, because these chemicals are volatile, and if there is an explosion, then naturally you're going to be in danger. And exposure, inhalation to these chemicals is dangerous. So yes, I would say they're in danger. Degrees of danger, it's difficult to say, but the short answer is yes.
And then again, you said that you do budget for cleanup in
We do.
these situations. And then how much was it? 18?
It's 800.
800 per time that they have to come out?
That's correct.
Okay. Do you have like an overall number that you have budgeted, or?
I don't know.
No, you don't know. Okay.
I mean, regardless, we're going to have to do it. We can't.
I just leave it then.
Something else will have to be, borrowed from to do it. We just simply cannot have those chemicals. Due to budget constraints, we poured it down the canal. It's not going to work.
Right. And then just as far as like the home after, will it be habitable once?
Short answer is it depends. The long answer, how many times is it cooked? They do testing on it, how much seepage into the drywall, into the wood, into the framework of the home are we talking? If there's been multiple cooks and environmental conditions dictate that it's been really soaked into the home, they're not able to move right back in. If it's something that it was a small, self-contained operation where somebody was cooking methamphetamine for personal use, it may not be that much exposure. Not everything is like Breaking Bad. There's different levels of manufacturing, not to minimize it, but it does change or lessen the amount of exposure in the environment.
With a couple of bus close together, do you see this as a trend at all?
In a time span, I mean, the three that we've had have been in different geographical areas of the city, so I wouldn't call that a pattern, but 3 in less than a calendar year, I would say is a pattern, definitely.
Is it unusual to have 2 females involved rather than males?
I wouldn't call it unusual. I'd say
No.
drug abuse, drug addiction, manufacturing, or anything in the drug trade affects everybody, all races, nationalities, and gender.
The first house, the one that's up in far up in Northwest Cape, I mean, it's been a year, and we went out there this morning, and it still looks like it was, just taken down. I mean, is that typical for it to take that long to turn it around? Or?
I think the manufacturing aspect, or the meth lab, if you will, is only a portion of that whole picture. I don't know if it's a foreclosure situation. There's probably many factors as to why that hasn't been inhabited again. I wouldn't blame that solely on the meth lab. I'm sure that does play a part in it.
Is it the homeowner's responsibility ultimately to clean it up?
Yeah, when we're done and it's safe, deemed safe, it is the homeowner's responsibility to make sure that it is up to speed. But if you're in a foreclosure situation, or somebody's walked away, or in between owners, bank owned, or that's going to complicate it.
Have you guys been out at the house again today that you raided yesterday, or is that all it's closed up now?
I don't know if we've been out there or not. It's not uncommon for our narcotics detectives to go and do follow-up activity there, so I don't know.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
Anything else? Is there anything else that people should know, or?
That's really about it.
Thank you.
Tony, do you take anything from these buses? What does this mean to the police department, having 3 fairly close together? Are you gleaning anything from?
Just another task for us to be weary of. Yeah, and an analogy would be just another pebble in the backpack we got to carry. One more thing for us to be concerned about for safety.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies, don't let the TV dominate.
No.
Malin's our intern.
Oh, okay. I thought you were with Print.
I'm Frank. I don't know, I guess my question would be, sometimes you see these images of people after they use meth. What's the greatest difference in terms of meth versus other drugs? Impact on users and such?
I think they all have their own ability to devastate somebody's life, so it's hard. I mean, I've seen people just as down and out from abusing prescription medications and methamphetamines. I think a physical toll is different. Mm-hmm. You see the decay of teeth, and that may be the chemicals actually in it, but the overall impact on somebody's life and physiological and chemical dependence, not very different, I wouldn't say. You have opiate-based heroin, prescription pills, cocaine addiction, and methamphetamines. If you ask a loved one, that's probably the best person to ask, not even the individual, but the people that are impacted by them. Mm-hmm. Devastation is devastation no matter what. You lose your home to fire, flood, or a bomb, you lose your home. It's the same kind of thing when you're talking about somebody who's going through that, or even alcohol dependence. If somebody's going through that, it doesn't matter.
And I guess in terms of how simple it is to find the chemicals to do something like this, I mean, is it difficult, or is it really this easy to set up?
I don't know how easy it is. I've never done it, so
Yeah,
but I do know that it is easy to purchase the chemicals needed to do so. But as far as easy to put it together, I really don't know. But I know it's easy enough that we've had 3 within a calendar year.
Right, specifically.
Yeah.
And how much does this run for? I mean, are these people selling to others, or is it personal use?
It's both.
Yeah.
It's a combination of both on some, and it's purely for sale on others, and it really depends on the situation.
So in terms of average street price for what you guys have found, do you guys have an amount?
It's a commodity like any other thing. Supply and demand dictates that. So, I mean, what the price is yesterday is a little bit different today. Same type of thing. I don't even have a ballpark for you. Fortunately, I don't know how much methamphetamines cost. On a personal note, how much?
Good.